start.
Yeah, this is live. We're doing it live.
Welcome to this year's Holiday Roundtable in New Brunswick, Canada.
Keep going.
Introducing Jonathan McLeod, owner of Lenny's Legends, defending champ, and he's currently atop the Stick and Puck standings. Next we have Connor McLeod from Ag United.
Okay.
Moving on, we have
Didn't get much there.
Dogtown Danglers manager and Sunny Corner Thunder ambassador, Xander Best. And last but not least, we have the burger himself. From Bluefield Burgers, Evan Thomas. Alright. Question number 1. Who have been the most surprising players? Jonathan, we'll start with you.
Okay. Surprising players. I'd have to say I was doubting Sam Reinhart that he could repeat what he did last year. But so far, he has lived up to the expectations that the Slayers have put upon him. So I'd say Reinhart won. Werenski for Columbus, the defenseman, doing very well. Another guy, he always seems to start off well every year. Jesper Bratt, we'll see if he can continue on, but so far he's been good. And Ricard Raquel involved in a trade, another surprise. And last but not least, Patrick Laine, coming off the IR and scoring tons of power play goals. So I'd say those guys are on the top.
Laine was bad last year, but this year he was pretty good. So, all right, for mine, I put Macklin Celebrini. I don't think anyone expected him to be a 2.0 player on season 1, and I think he was drafted, and we all said that that was what a bad pick. Somehow he's doing fine. And the second most surprising player is Wilson. I think he was good last year, but
Which Wilson?
Tom Wilson. He's been like probably one of the best skaters of the season. So
Sorry.
Okay, next up, Xander.
Okay, for me, I'm going to pick Ricard Raquel, involved in a 1-for-1 deal with Brian Rust, playing phenomenal. Then we have Matt V. Michkov, the Russian. He's going to be the next Ovechkin.
Two guys on your team.
Then we got Patrick Laine, and what a surprise, I believe Lance has him.
That might be Daniel.
Daniel.
Is it Daniel?
I'm going to the rinks.
Okay, my apologies. Then we got, I'm going to have to go with, who else? I think, what's his face off Evan's team, Jared McCann, but he's kind of stinky right now. And finally I'll go with Martin Natchez. He's also really stinky right now, though, on a 6-game pointless streak.
I'd have to say Sidney Crosby because he's so old.
Oh,
So I didn't think he'd do good.
Wait, we're all missing an old head here. Alex Ovechkin's been
Right,
phenomenal.
that's true. He has been great.
Okay.
Especially, I had him all last year. He was pretty bad the whole season, but in the playoffs, when it counted, he was on fire. So, the old man still got it.
His
Okay.
femurs don't.
Solid answers. Next to the most disappointing players.
Starting with me.
Starting.
I'm just going to stick to the first round draft. Going back to this year's draft, two first round picks really stand out as being disappointing. I could also put in there Pedersen as well, though he's been pretty good. But I'm going to say Pasternak and JT Miller, 2 first round picks who have not lived up to expectations.
JT Miller. I haven't seen Pasternak be that bad, but JT
Averaging
Miller's-
about 2 points.
We can't forget about Matthews as well. Never seemed to be playing a game when it matters right now. Every week that he's on, my team's winning. Every week he's off, which has been most, he's not doing anything. So for me, I had to pick the obvious here. There was a bit of a race when the goalies were being picked. We had Dad picking 2 goalies right off the bat, it seems. I think there was a few more. But Jillian really messed this one up, picking Georgiev in maybe the 6th round, something like that. Just a terrible pick overall, and didn't amount to anything, so that was mine.
I'm going to have to go with Pasternak. I also hate the Bruins, too, so there's a little bit of bias there. We're also going to go with... who else has been fun? Shesterkin's not that well. It's more so the team. Shesterkin's been all right. The team is just falling apart. Panarin's been bad. There's been a jab. I could really just pick apart the Rangers.
We could be here all day.
Yeah, I could say a lot of stuff about them. Then we'll go over to. No, I don't want to say anything about him. Yeah, that's all I'll say for right now. Ben Tom.
I'd have to say Jake Ottinger, the reason for my current losing streak.
Is he really that bad?
Doing pretty bad.
Yeah, he's had a few bad days.
Brutal.
Okay, Mr. Burger. For your own teams, what player has exceeded your expectations?
I'd have to say my pickup of Jared McCann.
Woo!
What was the question again?
For your own teams, what player has exceeded your expectations?
Yeah, I think it's good. Ricard Raquel, Mitch Marner. We're not good. Mitch Marner, Ricard Raquel. Getting Malkin after Jillian so graciously didn't want him this year. I took him and he's been quite well. We also picked up, we just dropped him because he's injured. Anthony Stolars. Now he's like dying, so. And who else? Really, that's it for my team. I like how they've been playing.
My team, the drafting, I thought this year the draft would go a lot better having that experience, but it really went really poorly. So my team is like half waiver wire pickups, and two of the notable standouts got to be Tom Wilson, as previously discussed, Michael Granlund, number 2. These guys have been the backbone of my team, putting up points when the mainstays are just falling apart. And then for a third player, we got Tim Stützle. Last year he was projected, I picked him in the 3rd round, he was awful. This year got him in the 6th, I think, and he's been lights out. Easily the best player on the team.
Camera woman is triggered right now.
Easily the best player on my team, long term in this season. He's always good. And those are my 3.
Wait. My phone storage is full.
Bruh. Cohen, you're up.
The phone's upstairs.
Good thing we got Ariane on the second.
Carry your
row.
phones up.
You haven't answered the question.
Pause. Don't get cut.
Welcome back to the holiday. Shoot! I said podcast by accident.
Just
Okay.
keep going.
Welcome back to the roundtable discussion. Sorry about that little technical difficulty. We're gonna start back with Jonathan.
All right. Most surprising player from my team. Not really surprised by any of my players because I drafted them for a reason. Everyone, mostly, except for those guys I've dropped, have lived up to the expectations. I'd have to say Colton Parayko of the St. Louis Blues, the defender, solid. He's one of those high floor guys. Lots of block shots, though he's been chipping in a little more offensively than I thought he would. So I'm going to have to give it to Colton Parayko.
Starting back with Jonathan. What have been the best waiver wire pickups?
All right, so there have been a few good waiver
Oh,
wire
my.
pickups. Now, in evaluating the waiver wire pickups, you have to give more value to those picked up later on in the season, because at the beginning, there are those surprises. But to get a solid pickup later on is a little more difficult. But just looking at the list of transactions on the league website, I picked out a few. Picked out Cirelli, is that how you say it, from Tampa Bay?
Yes.
Cirelli, I think that was the Slayers. I gotta say, Kiefer Sherwood, I picked him up for 1 week, and he scored a hat trick, 8 points one night.
Ridiculous.
Josh Norris, also of the Legends, good pickup there. Ross Colton, hockey team. Dustin Wolf has been passed around, but he's been performing pretty well.
Is he on yours?
Yeah, he's been on my team for a while.
Considering he hasn't been able to stick to one team. I think he's been between the Monarchs and the Danglers. So he'd be one. Tom Wilson was already mentioned. The forward drafted by the Shamrocks dropped and then picked up by a hockey team. Martin, how do you say his name? Natchez.
Oh.
Barbashev of the Vegas
How
Golden
many
Knights.
did you get?
Also the hockey team. Stolars,
But one.
who was dropped today.
Yeah, he's
for,
he's dead.
Stolars is also a good pickup. Did I mention? Yeah, I did. Finally, little inside information, pulling back the curtains, giving you a little insight as
Okay.
to
Yeah.
Moving on.
No, one more. Mackenzie, is it Mackenzie? Blackwood, traded to the Avalanche from the Sharks. Interesting story.
Get this guy out.
One afternoon, I just clicked
better get
on
out the cane.
X for a second, saw the trade, that it broke right that second. I immediately went to the Stick and Puck app, picked up Mackenzie Blackwood, and the rest is history.
Okay, you may have to put that at 2 times speed, but we're good.
Okay, mine's rather simple. I think this was a big mistake by me. I drafted him rather highly. Good projection from Travis Sanheim. I dropped him because he was utterly horrible in like the first 3 weeks. I dropped him and Xander picked him up. He's been lights out, incredible on fire. So that really might be one of my worst mistakes of the year so far.
Bouncing back off of Connor here. Pause. We have
Okay.
Travis Sanheim, as he has been exceptional after Connor's Stink United decided to drop him there, making a very questionable move. Then I'd also have to go with another one of my recommendations actually to Jared McCann, who's often been talked about so far by Evan. Picked him up, and another one I'd like to mention is Mason Marchment, but he's on the IR right now, and Evan Thomas.
I'd have to bounce off Xander and say Jared McCann. he had a pretty good start to a season. Now he's not doing so hot.
Okay, this is a fun question. Will one of Jillian, Lance, or Connor make the playoffs?
I'll take this one.
I think I should start as
Okay,
one of the
go
people
ahead.
of this graph. So I don't think Lance or Jillian are making it at all. They're projected 8% or below. Lance just seems to be all he can do is lose. So it's going wrong for him again. He's already looking for next year. Jillian is down in the dumps, but me, I'm not there. I am still confident. The team is better than it is playing right now. I got all kinds of great players. At the start of the year, it seemed like I got every player who was not in in a terrible rut. Now things seem to be coming back online. Past 2 weeks, you have Stamkos, we had Marchessault really popping off. It's really just been Saros has been okay, but he gets these weeks that just tank me. This week I got -8 from him, just utterly sunk me. But I think the team is going to be doing better down the stretch. We always have Zibanejad's last like 3 months pop off. Looking forward to that. We have just a lot of players that should be doing a little better than they should be. We saw from Daniel's thing that my shooting percentage was really low. So I think we'll make a bit of a comeback, and we could go past one of these two bozos over here.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say this right here. So as we see here, I'll show the standings here in the screen here. We have Jillian and we have Lance here sitting at a 3 and 9 here. And if you go down to our division, the lowest in the division actually sitting at 4 and 8 right now. We have Egg or Eggnog United. I think with these terrible statistics, I think the only one that has a notable chance here is Connor, and I don't even know if I call it a chance.
4 and 8, 500 record.
There's
500
an
record.
18% chance of him making the playoffs, followed by Sydney Slayer's 8% and Lance's unfortunate 4. So if you were to ask me, it's Connor, but I'd say it's a hope and a shot in incredible darkness.
Oh, is it me? I'm gonna have to say no one got a shot against me. So, doesn't matter if this is good anyway.
Wow.
Yeah, if Egg is to make the playoffs, they're probably going to have to jump over one of these two squads over here.
And due to our previous matchup, we might see how that goes.
We will. But what I was going to say is, well, I'm in agreement. Monarchs, Slayers don't really have a chance.
No, there you go.
They're just playing for next year's jobs.
Yeah.
But Egg United, they've been scrambled. He switched it all up, changed the makeup of the team.
Made some great
But in the
trades.
end, I'm going to have to say Egg United, rotten. They're not going to make the playoffs. We heard all this talk about their draft, how they knew so much more information. They were going to do so much better. They were well prepared, but the results have not matched that verbal that we heard early on. in the preseason and the opening few days of the season. So I'm going to say all three not making the playoffs.
I'm giving Egg United a doom.
The what?
Doom.
The eggnog is starting to spoil. Next question.
Well, I can already smell.
Okay.
How have the team's performances differed from expectations at the start of the season, Jonathan?
I'll take that.
Yeah, you
So-
will.
Get this
So-
out of the way.
I'm going to just talk about maybe drafting, maybe early on the season
is this?
matchups.
Make it snappy.
We saw early on, everyone was laughing at the oatmeals. Remember that opening matchup? Would they get 30 points
Was
in their
the
first matchup,
worst
their first
performance,
week?
worst performance in stick and puck history.
Look at them now, though. 4 wins in a row. They've caught hockey team their first place in the weaker, mind you, Nova Scotia division. So, oatmeals really are the surprise team. And then the disappointing team, we got to go back, circle back to Egg United. As we speak, we're smelling the spoilage more and more. Just had a big loss to the Legends last week, hurting their chances. So after all we heard from team manager and owner Connor McLeod, really a really disappointing
Big
so
yawn.
far result from the Egg United squad.
Alright, I'm going to keep this simple. I have 4 teams here. Oatmeal, better than expected. There was a, I don't know, like a group survey done at the start of the year. We all said this team stinks. They're not going to do anything. There's a bunch of young guys. No points going to be getting there, just names. But somehow they're getting points. Burgers. We thought the Burgers were going to be top of the league. We thought their draft was phenomenal. They got that Marner pickup that was well loved amongst the league, but they haven't been doing too great.
They made some questionable trades.
Egg, unfortunately, I thought it was going to be all sunny side up, but it's been not good for me. And then finally we have Shamrock, who, another team like Oatmeal, we thought they had a bunch of young guys, crappy teams, somehow they're getting points.
They
I
should
don't
just
know
get
how.
some goaltending, they would be on fire.
I think Evan's been a stinker after the couple trades he's done with me, but I mean, I'm not going to complain. My team has not lived up to the expectations I would like them to, but I think we're back on track again after a weird loss to Lenny's Legends. Also, Egg United, once again, very disappointed with them after all the monstrosity of talk there was headed into the draft day, and obviously one team I'm not surprised with, Lance. Once again, just disappointing us. I
Do you
guess.
think he's putting too much favor on his halves?
I think when you have a team as bad as the Habs, you're putting as much trust into them as
So
you
like
are.
trusting in the Penguins.
Exactly, and I learned my lesson from last year. So yeah, I think Lance is going down a dark path. Unfortunately.
My team has been pretty disappointing after the Marner trade. I've been so hot. And yeah, Lance's team's pretty bad.
Last question of the roundup.
That's it?
Wait, there's one more after, but
Round
whatever.
table. That's not a question.
Best
though.
and worst draft picks.
Okay, whatever, just keep going.
What are the best and worst draft picks?
Okay, I'm
What
gonna.
do we start with?
Start with Evan.
I
Start with Evan,
think I had the
please.
best draft pick with Mitch Marner, but sadly he's no more.
I'm gonna bounce back off of Evan after he bounced off of me. I'm gonna have to go with Mitch Marner being drafted late in that 3rd round, and obviously had John Genius, known as John McLeod, bouncing off the walls after that trade. You could hear him shouting in his office. But then unfortunately, Evan Thomas flipped Mitch Marner to me in a monstrosity of a trade, including Mikko Rantanen, and I was able to acquire Mitch Marner and Victor Hedman, and I think after that it was lights out. Another one I'll go with is a very shocking pick in the later rounds. Jillian Moran here picking Tristan Jarry, and it was a very uneventful pick, and I was able to draft him later, and he's somewhat playing half decent for the Penguins, whatever rally this is. So
Alright, unfortunately we're going to have to go back to Jillian here. One of the worst picks is Georgiev again, one of the stinkers of the league. Some surprising pickups we saw from Bedard last year. Huge hype coming into the league, but he averaged about 1.7, 1.8 for the year. But then we have Celebrini and Mitchkov coming out of nowhere. No one expected Celebrini to have over 2 points, as I talked about earlier. Those two have been incredible for where they were drafted. And then finally we have a sneaky pickup, one that I was high on the whole time. Dylan Genther, been a solid depth pickup. I think I got him in the 15th round, 2.0 solid player. Really happy with his results.
All right, well, a few of these guys have already been mentioned, but I'm going to start off, first of all, with the guys I immediately said were best and worst draft picks right when they were picked. Worst, Steven Stamkos by Egg United in the second round. Way
Third
up there.
round.
Third round. We'll get to the second round in a moment. And I also said Mitch Marner in the third round was the best draft pick, and so far that has played out.
One of the best players in the league.
Has played out as I proclaimed right off the bat. So a few more best. I'd have to say Kaprizov. Shamrocks, if you recall, traded their first round pick to the Danglers. They picked up Rantanen, since traded, but what the Shamrocks were able to do, getting those that package of deals, and then capitalizing on their second round pick, picking Kaprizov, who right now would be valued as a top 5 pick in the league. So they didn't really lose anything by picking starting in the second round. I'll also have to go with Brandon Hagel. I know the Slayers have been dumped on a lot. Hagel by the Slayers, good pick in the 12th round. Of course, unfortunately for the Shamrocks, another great pickup. Nicias, though dropped, he was picked in the 15th round. Celebrini, also for the Shamrocks, was picked in the 17th round.
What about Mitchkov? He better be on.
No,
this.
he's only averaging 1.7 as we speak.
Yeah, but he was picked in like the 10th round.
He should be averaging 2 by that
Humbug.
round. Anyway, and we have Mark Stone picked up in the 20th round by Lance's Monarchs. No.
Hold on. Stone is one of those guys last year where it just like Wilson, we've seen him do incredible right off the start. I don't know how we all turned a blind eye to some of these players. We knew they were good from last year. None of us picked them up. It's kind of weird.
So Stone has been injured, but when he's been in, you could possibly make the argument that overall he was the best value pick of the draft. Okay, moving on. Worst, second round, Connor Bedard, trying to get that keeper, but no, it was a stinker.
Okay. Sophomore slump, he'll be back.
Okay, Connor Bedard. We'll see if they keep him for next year's
We're gonna see a hat trick at the Winter
Connor
Classic.
Bedard, second round. He was like atop the second round, was he not?
No,
anyway,
17th pick.
Bad pickup. Also, Robertson of the Stars. He had that one real good season, but so far, and he's been traded.
Fraudulent.
Round 3. Mentioned Stamkos in round 3, and already mentioned Georgiev in round 6.
Georgiev.
Stinker.
All right.
Alright,
There's one more question.
time to rate the trades.
Are they there?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do this quick. Let's just go like thumb up or thumb down, and then quick discussion.
I think you thumb up, thumb down.
Say if you thought it was good or bad.
For who?
Alright, first
Okay, I
up,
don't know actually.
Burgers traded Victor Hedman, Mitch Marner, and Darnell Nurse to the Danglers for Mikko Rantanen and Logan Stank Oven.
Stank oven, bro.
Yes, keep this
Wait,
format.
let
Hey,
me do
either
that
the
trading.
boom or doom.
Well, depending on whose
All right,
perspective
so
you're looking
honestly,
at.
this trailer,
From
this
the
trade,
burgers, that's a dude.
3, 2,
boomer
1.
did
Rate
that.
it.
There's terrible trade by Evan. Evan's made nothing but terrible trades.
You could argue that the Burgers got the best player in the deal, which often says they won the deal, but Hedman and Marner were just too much value. Even Darnell Nurse has been decent. So
And let's not forget about that third round pick.
All right,
you gotta give it to the dang.
honestly, this trade is so complicated. I don't even know what's going on, so I have no rating.
Oh.
I
It's a
didn't even.
boom
I
on my
can't even
behalf.
look at it. It's too much.
Next up,
Next up, Lord of the Ranks tried
Traded.
Erasmus Anderson to the Monarchs for Jason Robertson.
Now this trade was utter diarrhea. Robertson has been utterly terrible. Anderson's been good. This was a kind of trade that I would make, and I'm glad I didn't make this trade because it's horrible.
Anderson has been nothing but staring into the opponent's souls every time he scores, so it's a great sign when a defenseman has pretty much more goals than Jason Robertson. It's a bit embarrassing.
Boomer Doom Burger.
No comment on this one.
All right, I'm going to say I haven't looked at Rasmus Anderson's stats, but I'm assuming he's doing better than
I think he's at 2.3 right
Robertson. You couldn't do
Maybe.
any worse. So,
I didn't even know this
thumbs
trade
up
happened.
to the
Whoever traded for Rasmussen.
Daniel has.
Lance.
Yeah, Lance actually makes a good trade here.
Yep.
Something we saw last year. He's making a lot of great
He got
trades.
Kaprizov last
Still
year.
stunk somehow. I don't know what's going on. All right.
Alright, Slayers traded Georgiev to Egg United for Cam Talbot.
All right, this
Oh.
trade is nothing. Cam Talbot was just a bomb pickup for me. I have no.
It's basically scrub for scrub here.
This was like scrub for scrub.
Cam Talbot has been good, however, when he's been in.
But I knew Kachekov was coming in, so I wasn't that concerned. I thought maybe I'd swing. Maybe
You need 2 goalies.
Georgiev would be good. Unfortunately, he wasn't. He stunk. So it looks bad on me, but it was pretty low risk.
Jillian wins the trade, hands down.
I'd have to agree.
Terrible trade all around. Uneventful.
I can see you put none of my good trades on here. It's all the bad trades. I don't have any flowers on
What
this.
good trades did you make?
I think the trade I made with Jillian and the one I made with Lance or
It was just
Xander was
like
quite good.
flipping like defensemen like Trouba and Darnell Nurse. They weren't exciting.
Oh, we'll see how it goes down the road.
Okay, Monarchs traded Vince Dunn and Jonathan Drouin to the Burgers for Cole Caulfield.
I'm gonna say the Burgers won that deal.
I'd agree.
Vince Dunn has been better. Always been injured and was stuck on the
I agree.
IR for a while. He has been the better player, surpassing
And I think-
Cole Caulfield.
I think when Drouin is healthy, which he hasn't,
They're both back
unfortunately.
now.
Okay, so it's going to be an easy win for the Burgers here. I just don't see. Cole Caulfield scored 6 goals in 3 games in the start of the season, and everybody thinks he's Connor McDavid. I just, unfortunately, I don't see it working out for Lance.
I saw
So it didn't.
on the projections early in the year, although we now know the projections were pretty bad for me, but we saw Cole Caulfield was super overrated. His average draft placement was really high, but his point projection was low. So, overhyped player. I think Evan got the best side of this deal, but unfortunately, it's been unlucky with the injuries. But I think starting like this week, we're going to see a full-powered Burgers team.
His
Yeah.
Burgers were overcooked.
Vince
earlier
Dunn
this season.
theoretically could be a keeper on defense.
I agree.
One last thing. Once
Not much.
again,
Not
as
much talent there anyway.
as mentioned previously, once again we see Lance's overvaluing of players
Abs.
from Montreal. And by the way, did we see that he dropped? I believe it was last night, Slavkovsky.
Ooh,
And
by the way-
after trying to trade him to
that must
me,
have been really hard
And
for him.
me.
By the way, and I would recommend someone checking in on him after making that tough decision to draft that
That must have been really hard.
maybe
on
go
him.
give him a
that
Christmas
Montreal
help.
player.
Alright, Karen. Said I'll flip him over to Steve. He likes the Leafs. He's got Zibanejad. Zibanejad was a little cold, so I thought I could get it from him. And at the time, I thought it was a great trade. But right now, it's looking really terrible. Somehow, Tavares is turning back the clock with his magic amulet. So, really nothing to say there. The only thing we can hope for is Zibanejad. He's notorious for really coming hot on the last few months of the season. So maybe he'll be good in the playoffs. But
When
other
you're
than that,
eliminated from playoff contention.
if we can make it to the playoffs, he might be an asset, but right now he's sitting on the bench.
I don't even want to talk about this trade. So
I didn't even know this trade happened.
I would, however, like to draw attention to one trade I think is very important and a recent one. I traded Ricard Raquel and Brian Rust. It was a 1-for-1 flip here between 2 first-liners on the Penguins, and I think I obliterated that deal. Ricard Raquel is playing some of the best hockey he's ever played in his entire life, and he's on pace to setting a career high. And he's also on pace to scoring 40 goals this season.
Interesting.
Ricard Raquel.
Wow.
What are you wowing about, Burgers? 5 and 9,
What are you for?
6 and 6. Yeah.
I will make a complaint though. The Legends did not have a chance to be on that list because no one will do a trade with the Legends.
No one wants to do
No one wants to
business
trade
the
with you.
That's unfortunate.
Last words to the mic.
This is Xander Best, and I would like to say that Jonathan McLeod, aka Lenny's Legends, I gotta give him his flowers here. The man has done an incredible job drafting. Although I think he's a little washed right now. He's declining. His record is slowly declining, and Egg United. I expect a turnaround here, or this is going to be very upsetting for Egg here, as they might become Fry. The Burgers, proud of their expansion team, hailing from Bloomfield, and the Doketown Danglers, mid as always.
This is Connor McLeod of Egg United signing off. I'll see you in the playoffs.
And just want to say that we petitioned, the Legends franchise petitioned the league to have our division changed from the Campbell Conference or Campbell Division to the New Brunswick Division. I would just like to formally say that we are terribly disappointed.
I support
that.
We're all
Petition
disappointed.
was not accepted. The other member of the New Brunswick Division is not here with us tonight. Probably celebrating his fantasy football championship win,
Okay.
Stephen Thompson. But the five of us together make up, I would have to say, the strongest, most powerful division in the Stick and Puck League. So next year we expect a division name change.
Okay, can I say one more thing? Also, if you're keeping up to date in the UMHL, the Upper Miramichi Hockey League, the Doketown Danglers are actually 42-0 right now and are yet to lose in 3 years. So that's an incredible feat.
Get that away.
Not hard when you
Okay, this concludes this year's Holiday Roundtable. Can we get a round of applause? That was very lame. And
Free Diddy!
we will see you next year. The end.